Have you ever felt emotionally drained after helping someone, only to realize they never truly wanted to change? What if offering your kindness isn't always compassionate, but actually harmful to both of you? Let's uncover the hidden cost of helping the wrong people and why the Stoics warned us about it centuries ago. Not everyone in life deserves your help. Some people don't just take your time. They siphon your emotional energy, leaving you mentally exhausted and spiritually depleted. Today we'll explore the 7 types of people you should avoid helping, all through the lens of ancient Stoic wisdom. These are not just ideas. They're insights drawn from lived experience, sharpened by time. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This message sets the tone for everything we'll discuss today. Throughout this video, you'll learn how to protect your inner peace by setting firm but wise boundaries with those who might exploit your kindness. By the end, I'll share one powerful realization that can completely reshape how you see relationships, negative influences, and even yourself. So, if you're ready to master emotional control and reinforce your self-worth, be sure to like and subscribe to Stoic Bloom. Together we'll explore Stoic teachings that lead to a more centered, resilient, and peaceful life. Let's begin with the first type of person you must learn to steer clear of. Type 1. The perpetual victim. We've all met them. That one person who constantly plays the victim, always seeking sympathy, never solutions. They wear their struggles like a badge of identity, exaggerating misfortunes in hopes of gaining your attention, pity, or validation. At first, offering your help feels like the kind thing to do, but the Stoics teach us to look deeper. True compassion isn't about feeding someone's sense of helplessness. It's about helping them see their own strength. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The perpetual victim doesn't embrace this truth. Instead, they insist the world is against them. They avoid responsibility, choosing instead to remain powerless. And when you continue to help them again and again, you unknowingly reinforce their belief that only others can fix their lives. This creates a toxic cycle. Your emotional energy is drained, and their dependency on you grows stronger. Stoic philosophy urges us to use discernment. Compassion must be guided by reason, not emotion. Sometimes helping actually causes harm. Just picture a friend or coworker who's been stuck in the same rut for months. You've listened, offered advice, extended emotional support, yet nothing changes. At some point it becomes clear they don't want change. They want comfort in their chaos. This is when you must step back, not out of cruelty, but out of wisdom. Now that we've seen the first type of person to avoid, let's move forward to the next pattern of behavior that tests your emotional boundaries. Even after all your efforts, they remain stuck in the same place, unchanged. And you're the one left feeling emotionally exhausted. This is exactly where Stoic wisdom becomes your guide. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one." And part of being a good person is knowing when to stop offering help that leads nowhere. The perpetual victim thrives on negativity. They feed off the emotional energy of those around them, not to heal or improve, but to sustain their sense of helplessness. they avoid responsibility and resist growth. And you, in trying to help, may unknowingly be keeping them locked in that same cycle. Here's a crucial question you need to ask yourself. Is my help actually helping, or is it enabling? Stoic teachings urge us to focus not only on compassion, but on clarity. Yes, helping others is noble when those others are seeking to grow, but continuously offering support to those who resist change does damage to both of you. It drains your spirit and reinforces their stagnation. Stepping back isn't coldness, it's courage. By removing yourself from the dynamic, you give them the space to face their own struggles, to finally confront reality without the safety net of your constant rescue. This is how real growth begins. The Stoics often emphasized peace of mind as a foundation for a meaningful life. And one of the greatest tools to protect your peace is emotional energy management. If you spend all your strength on those who refuse to change, you leave nothing for those who truly need you, the ones who appreciate your help and use it to rise. The path to emotional control starts here, recognizing who deserves your energy, and the perpetual victim, they are not one of them. Now let's move on to the second type of person to avoid, someone even more frustrating, not because they complain, but because they never say thank you. We just explored the emotional toll of helping those who never acknowledge your efforts. But there's another layer to this struggle, when your generosity is not only unappreciated but expected, as if you owe it. That's where things become not just exhausting us, but harmful. The unappreciative person doesn't see your help as a gift, they see it as an obligation. Over time, your kindness is no longer respected. It becomes assumed. And when people begin to treat your generosity like a duty rather than a choice, your spirit starts to erode. Stoic philosophers remind us, when we offer help, it must come from reason, not expectation. But that doesn't mean we should blindly give until we're empty. There's a crucial difference between being kind and being used. And the Stoics make it clear. Boundaries are not barriers to kindness. They are its guardians. Think about that one friend or family member who constantly expects financial help, favors, or emotional support, yet never says thank you. They assume you'll always be there. They treat your help like a bottomless well, forgetting that even the deepest wells can run dry. According to Stoicism, when your efforts are met with silence, or worse, entitlement, it's time to reassess. Help should never feel like a one-way street paved in resentment. Mutual respect must exist in every meaningful exchange. If not, you risk pouring your energy into someone who doesn't value it. It's like trying to fill a broken vase. No matter how much water you pour in, it will never hold. And the more you give, the more they expect. Epictetus taught us this vital lesson. We cannot control how others act, but we can always control how we respond. The unappreciative will not change simply because you want them to. They must recognize the value of what they're given, and many never do. So, is it selfish to walk away? Absolutely not. It's wise. By choosing to step back, you protect your energy for those who will truly benefit from your care, those who appreciate, acknowledge, and grow because of your support. In a world where gratitude is rare, Stoicism reminds us to give wisely. Help those who value your time, and let go of those who waste it. That is how you preserve your inner peace and avoid emotional exhaustion. Now, let's look at the third type of person to avoid helping, the lazy. because their inaction doesn't just hurt them. It pulls you down with them. After seeing how ungrateful people can drain your spirit, we now turn to another draining force, the lazy. But unlike the unappreciative, the lazy don't just take you for granted. They weigh you down with their refusal to move forward. You suggest practical ways to help them. Maybe they could search for a new job, start going to therapy, or adopt a healthier lifestyle. At first, they nod in agreement. It seems like they're finally ready to take charge. But days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and nothing changes. They remain stuck in the exact same place, complaining, blaming, waiting. This is when Stoic wisdom offers a clear signal. It's time to stop. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, "If you waste your time, you will never get it back." And helping someone who refuses to help themselves? That's exactly what wasted time looks like. You can give them all the tools, all the encouragement, even walk beside them for a while. But unless they're willing to take action, your efforts are like planting seeds in barren soil. Laziness isn't just a personal flaw, it becomes contagious. It drags down everyone trying to lift that person up. And eventually, you feel depleted, frustrated, maybe even resentful, all because they chose inaction while you carried their weight. The Stoics were clear on this. Action is everything. As Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Progress demands effort, consistency, and discipline, qualities the lazy resist. They cling to comfort. They lean on others. At work, in relationships, in everyday life, they expect others to carry the burden they refuse to bear. Over time, this dynamic becomes toxic. Your support doesn't inspire them, it enables them. The more you help, the less they try. And here's the harsh truth. By constantly rescuing the lazy, you rob them of the chance to learn responsibility. You stand between them and the very discomfort that could spark real change. Stoicism teaches us to act with wisdom, and part of that wisdom is knowing when help becomes harm. If someone refuses to show initiative, it's not noble to keep helping. It's damaging for them and for you. So, you must set boundaries, protect your emotional energy, and if they continue refusing to take responsibility for their own life, walking away isn't cruelty, it's clarity. In fact, it might be the only thing that pushes them to finally face themselves. Life is too short, too precious to spend on those who won't take even the smallest step forward. Instead, reserve your help for those who show signs of movement, those willing to meet your effort with their own. That's the Stoic path to balance, integrity, and peace of mind. Now, let's explore a far more dangerous kind of person, one who doesn't openly ask for help, but quietly manipulates you into giving it anyway. While the lazy drain your time through inaction, manipulators do something far more subtle and far more dangerous. They don't just take your help. They twist your emotions until helping them feels like an obligation. This is manipulation, wrapped in guilt and disguised as connection. They use your compassion against you, playing on your sense of duty or kindness. And before you realize it, you're no longer giving freely. You're giving because you feel you have to. Stoic philosophy offers a clear warning. Help must come from virtue, not from guilt or pressure. True kindness is a conscious choice, not a response to someone else's emotional games. Manipulators thrive on control. They may never directly ask for anything, but their subtle tactics speak volumes. Maybe it's a friend who always makes you feel guilty for not calling often enough, or a coworker who constantly asks for help but never offers support in return. At first, it feels small, but over time, these emotional nudges begin to erode your sense of freedom. Suddenly, you're trapped in a cycle where giving feels like a burden and saying no feels like betrayal. Epictetus reminds us we must always stay in control of our own actions and decisions. But when someone manipulates you, they're attempting to take that control away. That's why self-awareness is a central pillar in Stoic thought. You must pause and ask yourself, am I helping because I choose to, or because I feel I have no choice? If your support is driven by guilt, fear, or obligation, then it's not real help, it's exploitation. Think of someone in your life who makes you feel emotionally indebted. Their language is subtle. After all I've done for you, or I guess I just care more than you do. They weaponize your empathy and create an imbalance in the relationship where you give and they take over and over again. But the Stoic mind values fairness, harmony, and autonomy. When those values disappear, you're no longer acting from virtue, you're reacting from pressure. And the more you give in, the more power the manipulator gains, not just over your choices, but over your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And in this case, strength means recognizing the game and refusing to play. Emotional energy is a limited resource. When you spend it appeasing manipulators, you lose the ability to invest it where it truly matters. Kindness should never cost your personal freedom. So when you detect manipulation, set boundaries. Do it clearly, do it firmly, and if needed, walk away. That's not selfishness. That's self-preservation. Now, let's turn to another type of person you should be cautious with. Those who, intentionally or not, constantly bring chaos into your life, as we saw with manipulators. Not everyone seeks your help in good faith. Some crave control, not connection. That's why walking away is sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself. By stepping back from these emotional traps, you reclaim your peace and refocus your energy on people who genuinely appreciate and respect you. And this clarity, this discernment, is essential on the path to inner peace. Because not every voice deserves your attention, and not every opinion is worth your emotional energy. That brings us to the next type of person to avoid helping. The chronic critic. You've likely met them. No matter what you do, it's never quite right. They point out flaws in every effort, focus on the negative in every situation, and seem incapable of giving sincere praise. These are the people who make criticism a habit, not a tool for growth, but a weapon to diminish others. Now, Stoicism does not reject criticism. In fact, it embraces feedback when it's constructive, fair, and aimed at improvement. But chronic critics are not interested in building anything. They exist to tear down. Whether it's a colleague who always undermines your work, or a family member who never misses a chance to highlight your imperfections, these people thrive on dissatisfaction. Their negativity is constant and contagious. Stoic philosophy reminds us that our peace of mind is shaped by what we allow into our inner world. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do." This is a powerful reminder when dealing with constant critics. The moment you stop internalizing their opinions, you begin to reclaim your mental freedom. But here's the trap. When you try to help a chronic critic, hoping to soften them or earn their approval, you actually feed their cycle. You empower their voice, and that voice becomes louder, sharper, more relentless. Think of a coworker who always has something negative to say about your work. You respond by working harder, trying to please them, altering your approach, but it's never enough. Because it was never about your effort, it was about their mindset. Stoic wisdom teaches us that we can't control their perspective. We can only control our own reaction. And sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Not out of weakness, but strength. By no longer seeking validation from those who only offer criticism, you protect your emotional well-being and preserve your self-worth. Now, let's continue, because there's another type of person whose presence quietly chips away at your focus and inner calm. The constant drama seeker, as we just explored, chronic critics often reveal more about their own insecurities than they do about your efforts. Trying to help them is like shouting into the wind, draining, unreciprocated, and ultimately pointless. They don't want to rise with you. They want to pull you down. And the more you engage, the more you risk your inner peace. Chronic critics are often battling their own dissatisfaction with life. Their habit of tearing others down stems from deep personal unrest, unspoken frustrations projected outward. But no matter how much advice, support, or kindness you offer, their outlook rarely changes. They aren't seeking solutions. They're seeking company in their misery. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And when it comes to critics, sometimes the wisest reaction is to walk away, to protect your peace by refusing to participate in their negativity. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate inner calm, but chronic critics are corrosion to that calm. By continuing to help them, you compromise your emotional stability. You sink into their endless cycle of complaint and conflict, exhausting yourself in the process. Helping them won't fix them. In fact, it only validates their behavior. Your energy is precious, and it must be spent wisely. To maintain your emotional balance and preserve your self-worth, it's essential to recognize this truth. Some people aren't looking for growth. They're looking for an audience to their unhappiness. Let them have their stage while you exit the theater. Save your energy for those who seek progress, not pity. Let the critics stew in their discontent while you continue building a life rooted in strength, stillness, and clarity. And speaking of subtle threats to your peace, there's another type of person who's often overlooked, yet just as draining: the opportunist. Opportunists may not openly criticize or manipulate, but they quietly take far more than they give. Their presence drains you over time, and their silence in moments when you need help speaks louder than any words. They don't value your time, your effort, or your kindness. Worse, they see your generosity as something to exploit, not something to respect. Helping an opportunist is like watering a plant that has no roots. No matter how much you give, nothing meaningful grows. In Stoic philosophy, justice and fairness are guiding principles. When you help someone who has no intention of giving back, no desire to grow or contribute, you're not practicing justice. You're feeding exploitation. Every ounce of energy you give to someone who only takes is energy stolen from someone else, someone who may have truly needed and respected your help. That's the true cost of aiding opportunists. Imagine a business partner who only contacts you when they want something: resources, connections, your time. They vanish when there's work to do, but suddenly reappear when there's credit to be claimed. You give and they take. Always. Stoic wisdom urges us to see through these patterns, not with anger, but with clarity. Helping those who lack integrity doesn't elevate them. It deepens their dependency and reinforces their behavior. The more you give to opportunists, the more they come to expect. They operate under the assumption that you'll always be available, because you always have been. But your time, energy, and goodwill are valuable resources, and giving them to those who abuse them isn't kindness, it's carelessness. Epictetus teaches us to act with virtue and reason. And reason tells us this: enabling someone's selfishness is not virtuous, it's wasteful. To stay grounded in fairness, to protect your emotional energy, you must draw the line. Recognize the opportunist for what they are and walk away. Not out of malice, but out of wisdom. Because the truth is, some people don't want your help, they want your power. And as we move forward, we meet one of the most dangerous of them all, the envious. A person whose jealousy quietly poisons everything you offer. After seeing how opportunists exploit generosity, we now meet a different kind of danger, one that wears a polite smile but hides a bitter heart. The envious. These individuals don't just fail to appreciate your kindness, they actively distort it. When you help someone who harbors envy, they might accept your assistance on the surface, but inside they feel resentment. Rather than gratitude, your support triggers discomfort. They see your success as a mirror, reflecting their own shortcomings, and that reflection breeds hostility. Not humility, as Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But the envious live trapped in comparison. Their thoughts are constantly clouded by what others have, never appreciating what they themselves possess. So even when help is offered, they're unable to receive it with an open heart. Think of all. A colleague or friend who responds to your achievements not with sincere congratulations, but with silence, subtle jabs, or dismissive remarks. They might say, "You just got lucky," or "It's not that impressive." This emotional barrier, built by envy, becomes impenetrable. No matter how much effort you invest in supporting them, it's never enough. They won't feel uplifted because they've already decided they're beneath you. And here's the twist. Your kindness in their eyes becomes a threat. They might believe you're trying to prove superiority or rub your success in their face. As Epictetus teaches, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And the envious person's reaction to goodwill is to twist it into suspicion, into bitterness. This is the cycle. You give, they doubt. You support, they resent. And with each attempt to help, you feed a fire that consumes both your peace and their potential for growth. Rather than using your support as a stepping stone, they remain stuck in their jealousy, convinced that your success somehow diminishes them. Stoic philosophy reminds us to invest our energy where it leads to growth and mutual respect, not where it fuels toxic comparison. Helping the envious not only depletes your emotional reserves, it also corrodes your sense of joy and achievement. You might begin to feel guilty for what you've earned or question whether you should have succeeded at all, but that's not virtue, that's self-sabotage. Stoicism teaches us to guard our peace, and part of that protection means setting firm boundaries with those who carry envy into every interaction. Because in a world where envy is often disguised as friendly competition or masked by fake smiles, the wisest path is not to fix it, but to walk away from it. Now, let's bring all these insights together as we reflect on the greater Stoic lesson behind avoiding these 7 types of peoples we've seen with the envious. Not everyone can receive your help with grace. And when your kindness meets resentment, it doesn't just fall flat, it chips away at your own inner peace. That's why Stoicism urges us to be intentional about where we give our energy. The envious will never truly value your support. Instead, their hidden resentment can quietly corrode your sense of calm and emotional stability. To live in alignment with Stoic principles, you must choose wisely. Give your help to those who are grateful, not those who are quietly competing with you or resenting your success. Only by doing this can you preserve the emotional balance and peace of mind that the Stoics held as sacred. In conclusion, not everyone in life is worthy of your help, and that's not a harsh truth. It's a wise one. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true strength lies not in helping everyone, but in knowing when to step back, whether it's the manipulator, the ungrateful, the envious, or any of the others. We've discussed offering your energy to those who constantly drain you is a form of self-neglect. When you set boundaries, you're not being unkind. You're acting with wisdom. Just as the Stoics taught, protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. Your time, your compassion, your emotional energy, they're all valuable. So reserve them for those who not only need your help, but appreciate it and grow from it. The path to true emotional clarity lies in discernment and self-control, 2 of the most powerful tools the Stoic mindset offers us. If you found these insights meaningful, be sure to like and subscribe to Stoic. Bloom together. We'll keep exploring the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers and learn how to apply their teachings to live with deeper peace, stronger boundaries, and a greater sense of purpose. Stay centered, stay strong, and stay on the path of wisdom.